Future moguls, now we're diving deeper into the game, but before you can meet your sharp shooting soldiers, we need to define our battlefield. After all, how can soldiers win a war if they don't even know what they're fighting for yet? Now before we start, lock in and focus. I get it, moving between the charts and this lesson constantly is going to be a bit tricky, but remember, champions don't get distracted, they hunker down and they stay the course. And remember, every successful mission starts with good preparation, so make sure you do it right, don't get distracted, and don't cut any corners. First things first, we need to set up our chart time horizons. So you'll look at the chart like this, and you'll want to move up to the top left-hand corner of the screen and select from the drop-down menu, 1 day. Now, yours will look a little bit different to mine. Reason why is because I have the minutes and the hours section closed off. You're a commander. Remember, you don't want to get bogged down by the minute-to-minute noise of the market. So close these sections off because you want to look at it from a much higher perspective so that all of your strategic decisions can be as accurate as possible. Select 1 day, and that means that each of the bars on this chart represent a single day's worth of price information. But the question is, you're going to be looking at this video in the future, so this chart is not going to look like this anymore. It might be back here or back there or something like this. So how do we know how to set up the chart so that we're all looking at the same chart, all the students, all the same commanders? I'm going to show you how. It's by ignoring all of these buttons down here and selecting the go to button that looks like a little calendar. You click on that one and you go custom range. When the first field is highlighted, you go 2022, November 1st to 2023, December 1st. As you can see, it's now nicely set up. We have the 1 day chart and everybody's going to be looking at the exact same set of prices so that we can all work together on this. And that was step number 1. Step number 2, what you need to do is you need to go over here into the brush menu on the side and the tiny little arrow next to it. I want you to click on that and select arrow. Think of this as you looking at the map and you need to mark out territories and map out where you want your soldiers to move. Now, step number 3, use that arrow to pin down the moves that you want your soldiers to lock onto. You want to be capturing the big up and down sweeping moves like so. This is like the territories that your soldiers need to conquer. You need to map out their objectives for them so they know exactly what to lock onto. So if you're doing something like this, then you're doing it right. Now, step number 4 is to take a step back for a moment and review what you've done so far. Ask yourself these questions. Are they as uniform in length as I can possibly make them? Do they make sense? Does it seem like reasonable moves that I want to capture? If all of this looks approximately correct to you, then that's good. If these are placed in some other random position like that, if you're going flat like that, or if you're trying to go against the grain of the price, or you're trying to go in a line directly upwards like this, sometimes that won't work. So you need to be reasonable in your expectations. However, generally, it's good to have ambitious goals. So we'll put these arrows back to where they were. And as you can see, I'm clicking on the balls of the ends of these arrows to move them around into different positions. And once you're happy with these, we can move on to the next step. Okay, so the final step, step number 5 in mapping out our battle plans is to set the turning points. So what I want you to do is go over into this menu on the left-hand side and click the tiny little arrow next to the trend lines. What I want you to do is select vertical lines, and I want you to place those vertical lines at the positions where these strategies or where your moves are going to be changing directions. So you can see it's where one arrow finishes and another arrow begins. And this is kind of what I want you to do, like so. You'll be placing your turning points here and there, like so, turning points there, and of course over here, eventually when that goes down like so, or something like this. The vertical lines are important because they tell you where the turning points are. So you want to establish those. Step number 6 is completely optional. However, if you're feeling confident at this point, this is a great opportunity to do this. So what I want you to do is select each of these vertical lines, and if they're very high in the price, I want you to change the color to red, and if they're very low in the price, a place where you would want to buy, I want you to change those colors to green. So we go red, green, like this, and we alternate backwards and forwards between times where we would want to look at the price being very high and selling versus times where the price is very low and we want to be buying. This will be helpful later on. Now, a word of caution and motivation. The digital world offers 1,000 distractions per minute, but this is your future. This is your empire we're talking about. So don't let a distraction derail you from your journey to multimillionaire status. Stay focused, stay on point, and see this through. And for those that remain steadfast, in the next episode, we're going to be introducing you to your sharpshooting soldiers. Gear up, commanders, for the game's about to get real intense. I'll see you in the next one.